Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this windy day here at the homestead. And this is G Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. But guess what? We got winds. I was going to go out and do another segment of things you need to move off-grid, but we got 33-mile-an-hour winds again. I'm telling you, weird year. Got more windy days this year than I've ever seen in my lifetime out here. Just ridiculous. So, anyway, as you can see, I hear it calming down out there right now, and the wind is starting to shift a little bit from the direction that it was coming. And we're supposed to have possibility, I think it's late tonight into tomorrow, of getting some sprinkles or showers. I hope so. I could use the rainwater. So anyway, and speaking of rainwater, that'll be another segment on this series. I'll be covering all the different aspects of moving off grid. Right now we're in electrical, and I wanted to make sure that I covered everything in electrical that I can. So being here stuck indoors, I guess one of the things I can mention is I've said this before in many of my other videos. Familiarize yourself with Ohm's law. That's OHM apostrophe S, Ohm's law. You can Google it if you want, but basically what Ohm's law is that it says that if you multiply your volts times the amps, that'll give you the watts. So if you take the watts and divide it by volts, that'll give you amps. Or if you take watts and divide it by amps, that'll give you volts. And that will hold true for all types of electricity. I don't care if it's high voltage, low voltage, AC, or DC. The Ohm's law is a constant. It exists. It never changes. It'll always be there. So you can figure out watts, amps, and ohms. I'm not ohms. Ohms is watts. Volts, amps, or watts. You can get that information by using just two of the numbers. So if you have a label on a machine and it says it's 120 volts, 10 amps, that's going to be 1200 watts, because volts times amps is watts, right? So you'll need 1200 watts to run that. All right, that being said, next is, let's see, oh yeah, AC voltage. So you want to know what size breaker to use on something. Well, what you have to figure out is what the maximum amps draw is going to be for the circuit. So if the maximum amps draw is going to be, say 15 amps, that gives you a 5 amp leeway just in case there's a surge. So you would use a 20 amp breaker. On the other hand, if you had a 10 amp circuit, you only need 10 amps for some lighting, then you would go with a 15 amp breaker. All right? You want to give that little leeway, give that extra 5 amps of leeway in there. Now, in DC, remember with solar panels, solar panels and batteries, if you hook them up in series, then you increase the voltage. So you add one voltage to the next voltage. So if you got two 12-volt batteries and you hook those up in series to make a 24-volt battery, that's what you end up with, is 24 volts. Now let's say both those batteries, those 12-volt batteries, are 100 amps each. The amps remain the same when you go in series. Only the volts multiply. So You still have a 24-volt battery, but you only have 100 amps. All right? That's pretty simple. Now, if you hook them in parallel, that's positive to positive, negative to negative, your amps increase, but your volts remain the same. So you get two 12-volt batteries, you hook the positive to the positive and the negative to the negative. Now you have 12-volt battery. But if they're 100 amps each, now you have 200 amps. Okay? And no matter how you look at it, if you take the 12 times 200, or if you take the 24 times 100, you're going to end up with the same amount of watts. That's because, like I said, Ohm's law is a constant. It doesn't change. So that's your little lesson in electricity for today. Not going to go too far and confuse anybody. Remember, questions and comments down below. And for those of you who do have my email, please, if you have a question on my video, please put it on my video, because I get credit for those comments. And if you send it to me in email, I don't get any credit. So I want the credits. I like my credits. All right. So I appreciate that, everybody. Thank you for helping me on that part of it. Also, when I send you links to products, that most of the time it'll be on Amazon. If you do buy that stuff, I thank you for that too, because I get credit for that sale. I am an Amazon associate. So if you can, purchase through the link that I send you, not through a separate link. Now, if there's the item that I send in a link, if it's not exactly what you want and you find something else that's exactly what you want on Amazon, send me the link to that and I'll convert it to my Amazon Associates link so I get credit for it. I'd appreciate that if you can. I'm still struggling to take care of the dogs, and now that they're bigger, they eat more, so it costs more. And I have to put that on a charge card because I don't have much work going on right now. And then, of course, the charge cards, the bills come every month, but with the way the economy is and the way they keep raising interest rates, it's costing me more and more. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Don't forget your thumbs ups down there. Don't forget to share and subscribe. This is G Bear signing off.